All right, we're live. Good morning, Amy.
Yeah. Good morning, Shane.
How are things? How are you?
Things are good. We're still trucking along over here. The snow has just melted away. So the kids are, like, oh,
Yeah.
when are we gonna get more snow?
So wild. So wild. Not a common thing here. Enjoy it while it lasts because it doesn't last long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
There's some good in
know.
that. There's some good in that too.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
For
Yes,
sure.
there
For
is.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, there is. So we're gonna just dive in. That's what we talked about today.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get to it. We're in step 4 of how to train your algorithm. And it's really interesting because as you get to step 3 and 4, you start to learn, okay, things are not linear. Like there isn't a linear path to really using technology to grow a business or to help more people. Like there just isn't, right? So we start to be confronted with the things that are the obstacles, right? And we start to see more often than not that those obstacles are humanly driven, typically by us.
Right. Yes. That's exactly what I
Yes.
was thinking. I'm the obstacle as you were saying
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, typically that is me.
Yes.
I am the obstacle.
Right. Because as we talked about in earlier episodes that when Henry Ford came on the scene, he and that other guy, I can't remember his name, you guys are gonna have to forgive me, but you can Google it. You probably know his name off the top of your head. You're probably typing it into the comments right now, but him and that guy, they created that scientific management method, and we lived with that from 2000 from 1911 to 2011, 100 years of influence of one way of working. And so then you have the rise of technology, which requires a different work habit. It requires different ways of looking at things. There isn't silos, and there isn't one person over each silo, and there isn't only one person that can do the job. And there becomes this demand for us to be better at working. But in order to be better at something, we have to work on less stuff. Right? Like we can't be 100% of the time to 100% of people.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Yep.
And try to tell that to a mother. Okay. We are the worst. I can just do all the things.
I need no help. I got this.
Yeah,
I got it.
I got it. Right.
Until you don't.
No. And you really begin to see deficiencies and needs for help. And sometimes that help is technological and sometimes that help is human. And so I start here because more often than not, when my clients and I get to step 4, 5, and 6, the hard work of the testing has already been done and all the tech is built and interconnected. Every page, every drip campaign, CRM is set up, all that stuff is done for them. Everything is interconnected and the system is ready to go. All they have to do is take the learning from the testing and fill in the blanks. Edit the pages, fill in the blanks, and we do that together. And then we start into the strategies of scaling the message, which is really just positioning it in front of a bigger audience. That's what we're talking about. So when we positioning our messaging in front of a bigger audience, we've already tested it. We are more confident than not that message is going to convert in 7, 15, and 30-day increments. We don't have to wait 90 days to see a return on investment from advertising, nor should we. And that is my opinion. I believe that because it's been my experience, right? When I outsourced before I had the testing to give to the digital marketer, it took them much longer because they had to do all the testing and all the stuff. So it was 90 days to 6 months. However, when I did the testing and I took responsibility for the success, then told them what works and what doesn't work, man, 7, 15, 30-day returns on investment are normal. And so it's not really these deeper steps, these more valuable steps really are less about the tech because it's built and done for them. And it's more about the operator.
Yeah,
of the
good.
tech. Don't you agree, Shane?
Totally. And
Yeah.
thinking back to that scientific method, that scientific method still works to a large degree in lean manufacturing organizations, right? Like, so we live in an area where there are several, automobile manufacturers, and boy, there's one person on one shift working this one part of the plan, right? But that scientific method then got transferred into every other industry for a long period of time. It's like, I just do marketing. I just do sales. I just do service. I just do. And there's a big difference. Process orientation is so big in lean manufacturing. It's like, gotta do the process. Like, well, in this world that we're talking about now, this new way of doing business outside of automobile manufacturing, this requires that you have an understanding of the process, but it also requires that you understand there is a system of these interconnected tools, and those are constantly operating congruently. So there are angles to this that are always paying attention to, and yet within them there are certain steps that need to be done. So getting your head around that means you gotta step back, like you were saying. You have to step back in order to see it first, before then you can now move into each one of these processes that are connected at a higher level. I don't know if this makes sense or not. It just hit me as you were talking. It's like there is a system here, but that system requires we step back, right? I can't just zone into which is what we're used to if we worked anywhere prior to owning our own business. Here's your thing, you do the thing, somebody else does the other thing, and then we just focus on the thing. And it's disruptive to our orientation as business owners when we come with that mentality, because that you cannot sustain. You can't afford enough people to come in, nor do you have enough information to guide those people if you could hire them. So eventually you're out of business. You're going back to the JOB, right? Yeah. Interesting stuff, man.
And I have always appreciated your commentary around this experience, because you've lived it. I mean, you had to make this and are still we are always getting better, but we're still making this transition from these archaic ways of working, from this, manufacturing process method to a more agile way of living. And I find that one of the ways this behavior shows up, Shane, is when we go to websites. So a lot of times, and I hear this all the time, I mean, literally, if I'm on the phone with 10 owners that I don't know, 9 of them will say this: well, I hired someone and redid my website, or we're redoing our website. Our website is down because we're redoing it. And there is this idea, we've transferred the behavior of, hey, human, this is your job to do this thing, to a website. Hey, website, it's your job to position my brand in the world and to get the people to come. And click on my call button or fill out my form. Right. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that the website is really growing obsolete. So a few years ago, Google, who is determined to be the narcissistic king of the world,
all knowing everything,
all knowing everything, all solving everything, all being all things to all people all the time thing, decided that instead of positioning your website as the thing to click, and then people would go to your links and they would read about you and they would go to your blogs, and now it's one thing on that website that is specific to the search engine phrase. So you've heard keywords, right? Google, and this is I'm giving you just a very elementary understanding here. But Google used to only operate on keywords, and it now does that with a phrase. So now you can type in a phrase: I want fill in the blank. I don't want to. How do I? And it will go and look for a page or an article or a video or a blog that addresses that specifically. It's no longer taking people directly to a website. Now, once the people get there, are they going to click around? Here's what the numbers tell us. They're going to spend 9 to 10 seconds on the page that Google sends them to. 9 to 10 seconds. Okay. A landing page, which is very lean, it's not real pretty, it's not focusing on getting your brand out there. It's focused on one thing, connecting with the end user, specifically at their current position in life as they describe it, and their desired position in life as they describe it. So it's very lean. There's a picture. There's some language that connects only with that end user and the people that are like that end user, that prospect. And then there's like some bullet points that roll back to how they have described their current place in life and their desired place in life. And then here's the solution, the call to action button. Watch my video, go to my webinar, buy my, download my ebook. Okay. And those pages, which are not pretty, and I get judgment all the time, right? people like to tell me all the time, well, I looked at your website and I don't think you know what you're talking about. Okay. Not a problem. Yeah. I understand it looks that way because you're looking at it through the eyes of Henry Ford.
That's right.
You're not looking at it through the eyes of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And these algorithmic engineers and the people that are influencing your audience today. Yep. Okay. You're not looking because you don't know yet. Right. We just don't know what we don't know yet. And I have a lot of that in my life in other areas. Right. But I'm telling you, those landing pages, here's what the numbers tell us, that the average user is spending 60 seconds on a landing page versus 9 to 10 seconds on a website page. Now,
big difference. Yep.
I'm going after time as an advertiser, as the responsible party of my money. I'm looking for the highest return on investment. The highest return on investment is going to come where people spend the most time, not on what looks pretty.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not really looking for popularity and for people to think, oh, look at how creative and cool her brand is. I'm looking to solve a problem for only a specific group of people in the world. And that's what a landing page allows me to do. So my website is a set of interconnected landing pages that fulfill the rules of the internet gods that allow me to advertise. So there's some things that a website has to have. My website has those, but in a landing page format, not in a website format that's about the brand.
Yep.
Does this make sense?
It totally does. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking about, when you and I or anyone is, watching TV, it's never live unless it's sports in my house. It is always recorded. Right. And so, the commercial comes on and I'm like flipping through, 9 to 10 seconds. It's the equivalent of like when I type in, how do I change my oil? Here's the thing. And I'm like, okay, here's the step-by-step, like click gone, right? Like in and out. So what you're talking about though, is these landing pages, I'm coming in and I'm immediately saying, you get where I'm at right now and where I want to be. I want to learn more about this. I hit the pause on the fast forward button and I want to discover like, okay, how is this working? You're different. You're standing out from all these other commercials that are coming my way, for lack of a better way to describe it. Yeah. Right. So I'm engaging there. I was thinking as you were talking about it too, it's like, would you rather have, 100 people who are spending 9 to 10 seconds on a web page, or would you want 4 of the right people spending up to a minute on a landing page? Like I'm taking the 4 all day long because I know the conversions are higher. And that's the bottom line. We're talking about how do we increase the conversions? It's not by getting, just more. It's the right more, and it's the selective more. It's the intentional more, moving with them at their pace. Yes. Right. And so that to me is it just revolutionizes the perspective on advertising, positioning, getting yourself in front of the right people.
Well, and isn't it interesting? You hit on something that for you, the 4 is more important because the conversion is going to be higher. Yeah. Well, the reason why that is of a higher value to you is because you have said the only 2 things that matter. I've adopted the principle and the understanding that the only 2 things that matter in business, take all the fluff away, take all the branding, take all the popularity, take the big audiences, take the Insta celebrity, take the big paychecks and take all of that away. There's only two things that matter in business. Always acquiring the most ideal client. And I don't mean like most ideal that they're going to pay the ticket. Most ideal that they are ready to take action from moving from where they are to where they want to be with you. And they see the value of that. That's the most ideal, because if they don't see that, they won't pay anything.
I'm telling you, right on. You are wasting your money if you try to convince them if they are not there. If they don't want to move from here to there, you will not convince them. You'll just drain your bank account.
Exactly. And so that's the definition of always acquiring the most ideal. And then the second priority of business is helping that client get what they want first. So now everything in Shane's world and everything in Amy's world and everything in the hundreds of clients that we've worked with world is, well, I don't need an awesome website. I need a landing page that helps these people make really intelligent decisions about where they want to get to in life. Right? Yeah. Now I'm more concerned about what people don't see, which is understanding the people reading my landing page, understanding the people that are coming to that landing page. So now every sales process is designed, yes, to convert, but not only to convert, but to learn, constantly learning, constantly getting better at connecting with the humans coming to the landing page versus time spent on how pretty and flashy and awesome can my website be.
Yep. So here's where this is the mistake I made, Amy. I was like, okay, I got to convince these people that I have credibility. Right. So we can have this conversation for a minute. Like, okay, what is it that causes, or what caused me? I'll just stick with me. What caused me to go spend money on someone designing a web page? I didn't know how to demonstrate credibility outside of having something that looked really good and having a cool feature. And so I thought that was the way to demonstrate credibility. So I was like, okay. And then I had the mentality of like, put it out there and then just miraculously they will come. That's not the way to demonstrate credibility. And you've already said it's not the way that gets people moving in your direction. So let's talk just for a minute about what is the demonstrated credibility that will be a part of your landing page sequence in order to help people see like, yeah, this person can really help me.
Yeah, what a great, just great insight, right? It's the awareness of this is what I think I need to do. Is I think I need to prove credibility, and you do that with how things look.
Yeah. But like, again, hey, I'm not driving a Ford Pinto. I'm driving a Corvette. Woo!
Yes,
look at me.
Right. Yes. And I will say that I know that our audience, like the materialistic things doesn't connect with them, but there is this idea that successful people have certain things and sound a certain way, and look a certain way, because that's what we see. Do you remember that illustration a few episodes ago with the clay and the world, and we're turning it on its axis, and it's the shadow side, the dark side that actually matters more than what people see, right? So the green screens and the fancy equipment and all of that, the numbers tell us people actually find that to be an overproduction. You must be hiding something. What's wrong with you?
Isn't it interesting? It produces the very opposite response that we're hoping for.
Correct.
It's like, because beware of this. Yeah.
Right. Because people have lied and stolen and all looking and sounding the part. Right. And so there's been this breakdown, this erosion of trust.
Yeah, it's good.
So the demonstration of credibility comes by establishing trust first. The only way to establish trust is for someone that doesn't know you to feel like you know them. So it goes all the way back to the very first steps of research, and not research of, do you want my service or services like mine? Research of, who are you saying that you are? What are you saying that you want? And can I demonstrate that I have done that for someone? Credibility comes when I can demonstrate I have solved the problem that you are saying you have, even though you haven't told me yet.
Right. And
Okay.
this is what causes people to not have to care about what your website looks like. They don't, because they're not coming in and looking like, is this pretty? Is this set up? Is this like, no, they're like even the people who try to help you with your website, they move towards you because you connected with what they want and or where they are and where they want to be. And you demonstrated how you've taken other people there, and they're like, man, I got to see if she can help me. It's like the website didn't move them that way. The landing page didn't move that. Like, it was just the vehicle to put up in front what was most important to that particular prospect.
Right.
This is where I am. This is where I want to be. This person has taken people from here to there. I should have a conversation just to see if it might work for me.
Yeah.
Boy, relief. Like, whoo.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll have to.
It does take all the pressure off. Like, I don't need to be a certain size. I don't need to have a certain house. Right. I don't need to drive. Some of the most successful people I know own nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a client, very successful, sought out by A-list celebrities for her neuroplasticity work and owns nothing. And she's very proud of that. That's the lifestyle she has chosen. And the reality is it's not about that. It is about people want to connect at a deeper level. And we have assumed that they don't. Right. And the reality is that the numbers tell us they do. They're looking for someone that can demonstrate you can trust me. I'm not here trying to sell you something. I'm here trying to help you see that if this is who you say you are, and this is what you say you want, I can demonstrate I've done it. And I'm going to give you the time and the process for me to earn your trust and for you to do your due diligence, but it's going to be within my time frame. Yes. Right. You're going to have the time, and I'm also going to have the time. You're going to have the value, and I'm also going to have the value, because we have to be respectful of one another. Yeah. It's just mutual exchange of value. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So here's the bottom line about your website, my friend. It's nothing more than an awesome Vistaprint business card. So all the money you've spent, like my clients, is just part of the work. Hey, here's a website, because it doesn't make sense to spend any time or money there. It gets no return on investment. I only spend money, and I really tenaciously, without saying, do what I say to do, right? That's what's happening on the inside. Without going that far with my clients, I really stay on the only spend money where money is going to come back. And that's only a few places. It's only a few digital steps. It's only a few marketing efforts. It's only a few sales tools. And it's only a few product development strategies. It's not a bunch of things and a bunch of systems and one platform. Like, I had somebody, she was really, really kind. She's in the systems world. We were having a Facebook conversation, and she just kept wanting to know, so what is the name of the platform? I said, it's not one platform. The reality is that one platform is not strong enough to do all the things I want it to do really well with the end user in mind. If I want to save money, I use one platform. If I want to serve the end user, the prospect and the client really well, then I interconnect only the best platforms that are fast, reliable, great service, aren't glitchy, and are getting them what they want in the fastest possible time frame, even though I have to do the work of putting them together. Yep. And that's really the strategy of the tech in steps 4, 5, and 6. But I have to say right here, just very briefly, is that the currency, we're really the value of an advertiser is time. So if I'm going to put up a billboard, say with my advertisement on it, I'm not going to put it on a highway. I'm going to put it on an interstate that is interconnected between multiple states, that someone like Shane would be driving multiple times, so he sees it a lot. I'm not going to put it on a highway that someone like Shane would only see it once or twice a month. Yeah. Right. So that is time is it's more powerful than money. And it's also the one thing we cannot control.
Yeah, that's right.
And we find consistently with our clients when they get to step 3 and 4 of really implementing technology so they can acquire their ideal client consistently and help that client get what they want faster and better, that they start to run into this roadblock of time management. Okay. Which is just a lie. Okay. To manage something means that it has constraints and controls. Time doesn't have that. We cannot control it. We cannot constrain it. We can't get it back.
No pause button.
We can't pause it, right? We can't pause it. So there has to be some better ways of working within the time we have, which is also something we're highly focused on at this step is, are you only doing the work that is going to get you the highest returns on investment? And that work lines up directly with a tech tool, right? So the tech tools that get the highest return on investment is where we spend time for both the model and the marketing. What it takes to make those tech tools work is the only place we spend time. So it's research. It's spending time with the end user. We don't hire a VA to go spend time with the end user first because it's too valuable of a connection. Right. So it now starts to change the way we are even addressing our own problems in the business, because it all comes back to, where am I spending my time? Is that time converting at the highest return? And is it converting in the fastest, both when I sit down and develop, and both when I sit down and market, and both when I sit down and sell?
Yeah, that's good.
And so I say that to you because this has been really another big conversation this whole week with clients, with Shane and I, is this time piece. Email is bogging me down. The pressure to respond to emails is bogging me down. I thought I had more time than I actually do to do the work of acquiring the client and working with the client. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do first. There is a link in the comments to the 4 most important priorities that every owner should focus on. It's free to you. I'm not going to spam your inbox. I just want to give you this thing that I learned. It really came down to the 2 most important things in business can be actually executed in only 4 things a day.
Yep.
Right. And that's all we do. I mean, Shane and I, this is all we talk about are these 4 things. This is what I'm doing. This is the time I have set aside. Every metric is around these 4 things, because it is the things that help us manage our activity, because we can do that. We can manage our activity, which helps us to actually produce more in the time we have.
Yeah. That's a good way to
not try to manage the time we have so we have more production. We have to manage our actions to get a higher production in the time that we have. Does that
totally? Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yep. Time doesn't drive productivity. It's the action we take within a certain frame of time that determines productivity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So in order to help you start to get a perspective on what do I do first, what does a workday look like for an owner? I don't care if you've got 1,000 employees or you got yourself. Okay. It's the same activity. It might look a little different at different levels of the business, but the reality is it's these 4 important things. This is where we launch. This is where we end. This is where we plan. And it comes off of 2 priorities: always acquiring the ideal client and helping that client get what they want first. Done. 4 things that roll up to 2 priorities. Now you no longer have to manage time because the time that you're working is producing a higher return.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I'm going to put that link down below in the comments. Feel free to download it. I've got a short 5-minute video there that explains that tool. You can put it on the wall. You can tape it up. You can see what goes into each of those things. You can screenshot it and put it on your phone. Whatever you want to do, it's yours. But I believe that it will help you at this stage of training algorithms and really working in a technological age with technological systems to get the highest returns, which is what this is all about. We're not trying to save the world. We're trying to help the most people in the most productive way in a certain period of time.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. And technology really is the key to helping us do that. But as we say, systems run the business, but people run the system. So download the time helper, and we'll be back here next Friday talking about steps 4 or 5 and 6.